No, that's fine.
Okay, Prabhuji. So fine. Okay. If any one of you have anything in between, you can raise your hand or not. Otherwise, best thing is you please drop a message in the chat box so that we can take in the end. That will be very helpful. And all of you, those who are from scientific background, really relish this chapter because a lot of science is explained in this chapter. And especially, I know some of you are doctors also. So please hear attentively. Yeah. So, one of the sentiment, no patriotics are there. Like they decorate their houses with some no national flags and this that. But if they are they really patriotic or not? That will be tested when it's an emergency. When you are asked to go and fight for the nation, then you are really patriotic or not. It comes. So some people they superficially express their sentiments also. No, Bhagavad Gita is not such kind of a book. It's a serious, no serious thing. It's like Bhagavad Gita is a law book. Like whatever mysteries are there behind this universe, behind the life, behind the cosmos, behind anything what we are current scientists are studying, either in the physics, biology, mathematics, whichever field you speak, whatever they are searching after the truth, that is there. The truth is there in Bhagavad Gita. So, but the people don't want to study this, they say, because they don't want to accept any supreme authority. So this is very unfortunate situation. So, but all of you are really fortunate that you are showing interest in Bhagavad Gita. So please understand this Bhagavad Gita is not an opinion. It explains how things are really working. Once you start understanding these things, then you really appreciate. Like when I first understood this thing, I really felt that all through our life we have missed so much. It took so much time that to come in contact with this knowledge by the blessings of Srila Prabhupada. Now we are in the process. So one of the thing is like Bhagavad Gita. It's one shloka comes Shastra Chakshu. So seeing through the eyes of Bhagavad Gita changes our vision. Like anything like for example, any object you see, what happens? Your conclusion on the object or the person depends on your knowledge on that object or the person. Like for example, Srila Prabhupada gives these examples. When on the highway, you are driving your vehicle, but suddenly your car stopped working, and your husband came out, you came out, your children came out, and everyone is seeing, open the bonnet and then seeing what's happening. But none of you could figure out. But what happened? There is another person. He came and he stopped the car and he saw what happened. And by the way, he's a mechanical engineer. And she saw that because he has some theoretical understanding of the parts of the machine. So he's saying that maybe here, maybe sure, that maybe, but he could not exactly figure out because simply theoretical knowledge will not work. All of you know also. So, but and later one more car came and in that car, one person who is a mechanic, actually is a mechanic who had experience in repairing this vehicle. So he came and he asked what happened. So he said that, and then he quickly fixed some switch or something, and later started work. And same thing, same object is pursued by many people, but everyone's vision is different. Everyone's vision is different. Everyone looks at things differently. And if you go further, Prabhupada gives like another example. A woman is there. A woman, when she goes on the road, what happens? A young person sees her as an object of enjoyment. That's why all the advertisements for any small thing they project women. Why? Because that's a way of attracting entire mass of people. Because people are lusty, so when someone sees women, they naturally becomes lusty and attracted. But a child sees, what happens? Child sees a woman like as a mother, or like other women sees in a different way. So like that, everyone sees. A elderly person sees women in a different way. A student sees her as a teacher. Like a patient sees her as a doctor. Same thing. So it depends. What is their vision? So, but Bhagavad Gita, is it giving us a wonderful knowledge? It's a transcendental knowledge. When we actually realize this knowledge, understand this knowledge, what happens? Our vision towards the living entities, towards this nature, towards objects, towards senses, towards other people, towards animals. Everything changes. And we want to bring the transformation in the society. But transformation is there. Like if one can understand this Bhagavad Gita, get trained in Bhagavad Gita, transformation happens. So there's no doubt about it. And we have practical evidence of this transformation happening in the society. Whomever is coming in touch with Bhagavad Gita, their lives are really getting transformed. So, and this is the no, that's this shows that this is not something theoretical. It works now also. And Raja Guhyam, as I said, it's a great mystery. And everyone likes challenges. Is there anyone who does not like challenges? Like when I was working in Bangalore in my first organization, Marvel India Private Limited, and no, it's a being I was in Bangalore, and Bangalore is surrounded by so many hills and like so many, trekking places are there. And many of my colleagues, they used to go weekend after weekend just to go to different hill and then used to go for trekking, and they used to so much relish, and after coming back to office they used to discuss only those things. And everyone wants challenges, mysteries, and great mysteries there in Bhagavad Gita. If you really want some challenges, so please dive into Bhagavad Gita, so you will really relish it. So request is, as Srila Prabhupada says, Bhagavad Gita is a science of self-realization. So learn Bhagavad Gita as a science. Then you will really start appreciating, and then you naturally feel inclined to share this science with everyone, because once knows this science, then he knows how to operate things. Just like a mobile, if you know how to operate it, and it's very easy. And then now also many people who are elderly people, they get really amazed to see how money is getting transferred online, Google Pay, GB. They get sometimes mesmerized. If such kind of things can happen with the modern science, so what can you expect of this transcendental science? So yeah, so this so far I just spoke about some introduction about Bhagavad Gita, which is very relevant to what we are going to discuss. I hope some of you can guess this. So what is this? Is there's a box. Two lids are there, top and bottom. Bottom is a base lid, and there is a diamond is there. So Bhagavad Gita is also exactly like this. First 6 chapters, last 6 chapters, and middle 6 chapters. So first 6 chapters are like Karma Yoga, dovetailing activities in Krishna consciousness. And last 6 chapter, Jnana Yoga. There's an analysis, great analysis is there. How this thing is working, how that thing is working. Like so much analysis there. I will give you a little glimpse today. So, and the middle chapters are pure bhakti, pure devotional service. That's why first 6 chapters, Karma Yoga is like one lead, and the last 6 chapters, they are like Jnana Yoga. The second lead, the base lead, and the middle one is a diamond, which is a pure devotional service. So, through the first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters, our aim is to understand about the pure devotional service. So, these chapters will help us, gives us a door, its entrance to this pure devotional service that is in the middle 6 chapters. So yeah, so now what from 13th chapter onwards, we are only going to discuss 13th chapter now. So from 13th to 18th chapter, these are called as Jnana Yoga. So let's see. So what is yoga? Basically, many of you have already might have heard from Prabhuji and others also. Yoga means not just doing some physical exercises. Like nowadays, it's a great misconception that yoga means do some exercises or maybe little pranayama. No, yoga is some steps are there, yama, niyama, pranayama. Some few steps are there as part of the yoga. But ultimate aim of yoga is to connect, to link up with God, to link up with Krishna. So that is called yoga. So now what is meant by Jnana Yoga? Yoga means to linking up with Krishna. What is Jnana Yoga? Jnana Yoga means now Jnana means analysis, knowledge. So we are going to discriminate what is spirit, what is matter, because in this entire creation what we see mainly two things. One is spirit, one is matter. So now we are going to distinguish what is spirit and what is matter, and we do that by in touch with Krishna. Okay, so that's why this entire thing is called Jnana Yoga. So in these different aspects of creation are analyzed. Science means analysis. No, we analyze, right? Like I always remember this example when I was in my 12th class. So, as part of 12th class in Andhra Pradesh, we have this in chemistry. We have an experiment they give one salt, and they ask us to, analyze which what elements are there. So, there are very many tests are there to arrive at what is, to conclude what is this chemical. So fortunately, I have got a copper sulfate, and it's very easy because it is in some bluish in color, and it's very easy. When I saw, then I could understand this is copper sulfate, and all rest of that is what it was, just like casually without any anxiety. So, here also analysis done in these chapters, how uh, different aspects of creation are analyzed. So, I was telling in the beginning. So Krishna is giving secrets which people are not aware. Even now also, they are not aware such secrets, but they don't want to accept. They want to try on their own. We want to try on our own and come to the conclusion what is the source. But it's many bahunam janmanam ante. Even though they may take many millions of lifetimes, they cannot arrive at the proper conclusion what is the source behind all these things and how actually life has evolved. They cannot understand, they cannot come to know. But provided if they take to the shelter of Bhagavad Gita, understand and then do research, it's quite possible in this lifetime also they can arrive at the truth. So one of the thing is, some of you are already practicing Krishna consciousness from quite some time. So these chapters also help us to, like, when you look at this um, slide, what do you get immediately? Checklist, whether this is there, whether this is there, whether. So I was just telling of the chemistry experiment, there are different tests are there. We have to do all the tests. Color, taste, of course taste can't be done for some kind of chemicals, but for certain, there are some certain tests which we have to evaluate through color, and other through taste, other through smell, and other through some, adding some, liquids, and then come out with some conclusion. So each one we have to check. So similarly, Bhagavad Gita is a science, not only in the terms of life, but it also tells us, as we progressing in Krishna consciousness, okay, how to check whether I am progressing or not, because it's a science. It should it should give information about our different stages also. Yes, Bhagavad Gita gives, um, at each phase of our Krishna conscious life, we can check that, am I uh, getting imbibing these qualities or not, are these qualities are getting developed in or not. So like that we can also check through this chapter. So for a devotee also, these chapters are very, very important to assess our bhakti. So you can understand, right, how wonderfully Krishna has spoken. So now coming to, now we are entering into the 13th chapter. From this slide onwards, we really go deep into the 13th chapter, its contents. So, but what exactly is 13th chapter? It is just this slide only. So there are 6 things are discussed in this entire 13th chapter. What are the 6 things? Arjuna asked in first shloka itself. Oh Krishna, please tell me about these things. So what are the 6 things? Kshetra means field. Kshetrajna means knower of the field. And Jnana, the process of knowledge. Jnaya, the object of knowledge. Prakriti, nature. Purusha, enjoyer. So Arjuna asked about these things. So Krishna is going to describe these things in detail in this chapter. So these things we are going to learn in this entire 13th chapter. So once you learn this 13th chapter very clearly, you understand what is Kshetra, what is Kshetrajna, how to distinguish between them. Because analysis, right? Analysis means there will be division will be there. Until and unless division is there, you can't analyze things, right? So Jnana, then what is meant by knowledge? How to approach them? What is the ultimate object of the knowledge? And we see entire Prakriti. What is this actually? Purusha. And who is actually enjoyer? Okay. So now coming to Kshetra and Kshetrajna. So as you can see in the right side, right? No, Krishna, you see, Krishna gives this knowledge very practically. Even though it's a transcendental knowledge, transcendence means which we cannot understand or experience through our material senses. The senses what I have with this body. With these things, I can't understand transcendental things. But Krishna, very wonderfully, if you see Bhagavad Gita, entire Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives so many analogies to make us understand what is this. In second chapter also you can understand Vasam Sijirnani Yata Viha. He gives the example body and the soul with body like cloths. Like that he gives. So in this chapter is giving what is Venbe Kshetra. It is a field of activity. Just like you see, there's a agriculture field. I don't know how many of you gone to the agriculture field. Agriculture field is like this, and a farmer is tilling the land. So similarly, this body is like this field. And what soul and super soul is like a farmer tilling that field to extract something. Now, what does the farmer does by tilling the field? So that he wants to finally get the grains out of the field, or any other vegetables or plants, like some other leafy vegetables. So Kshetrajna is a farmer, like is a soul, and a Kshetra is a body. Of course, in the Kshetrajna concept, what Lord Krishna explains in this is there is also one more Kshetrajna who is the super soul. So I hope you understood. Body is like a field, agriculture field, and Kshetrajna means knower of the field. So then why body is Kshetra? So this body is made of senses. Everyone agrees, right? So this body is also compared like a city of 9 gates. We have eyes, we have ears, we have nostrils, we have mouth, we have genitals. Okay, we have rectum. So through these are like the holes of the city. This if you compare this body as the city, these are the holes to enter into this city. So these are the holes. So this body is made of senses. And so what does the Kshetrajna wants to do? Because this body is a field. Now he wants to extract. So what he is using this body for? For enjoying sense gratification. Means eyes wants to, see in the current society, throughout the day you observe any person's life, what they do. From the morning till they sleep, and after sleep also. So they are constantly engaged in sense gratification. They don't do anything else. Eyes, they want to see some beautiful things, maybe in the films or internet, or women, or like opposite sex. No sense gratification. Ears, they want to hear nice music. Tongue, they are constantly harassed by the tongue. Tongue always says, you give me this, you give me this food, wants pizza. So many things it's asked actually. Because why? Because Krishna himself is saying, because one who is bereft of this knowledge, they are engaged in only one thing. What is that? They are engaged in using this kshetra. For what? For sense gratification. Why they are doing sense gratification? Krishna says in other parts of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because they are in search of happiness. They think that if I am able to gratify my senses, I can be happy. So this is the entire definition, and even the goal of our entire society. Now, what do you want to do? I want to earn nicely, I want to live comfortably and enjoy my senses. But is this a good proposition? No. As per Bhagavad Gita, one who is indulged in sense gratification is going to get misery only. So now the question comes, okay, Kshetra, there are different kinds of land. There are some soily, some fertile, some infertile, some are, muddy. If you study in history or like social studies also, they explain about different kinds of soils. Okay, so but now we also see, now here soil field is compared to the body. Now the question is, but there are different fields. But so similarly, we have different kinds of bodies. Like someone has a very beautiful human body, someone has a very ugly female body, someone has a body of a dog, someone has a body of tiger, someone has body of a plant. So now the question is, how body is offered? So here it is said, according to the capacity to enjoy sense gratification. I will give you example. Pigeon, eagle. Pigeon. So generally, our entire society is now running in the direction of only, they want to live comfortably and enjoy no sex life. So but PGN, Prabhupada says that PGN engages in a day in 81 times. So if you compare human being with the pigeon, who is more advanced in sexual life? Pigeon, obviously, it combines with the partner for 81 times in a day. So humans can't compete on that. Eagle. So eagle, is a special bird. So it goes to the far height above the earth, and then it searches for something. What? It searches for the dead bodies. Of course, we are now seeing very less eagles. So it vision is there. It can see from a longer distances. So now if you can see, right, human body has a certain limitations. It can enjoy sense gratification to certain extent. But there are so many animals who are expert in enjoying their particular senses, like the pigeon, eagle, and so many animals. I just gave two examples here. So now the question is Kshetra. So Kshetrajna, who am I? Because we just discussed about Kshetra. Now we are going into the topic of Kshetrajna. So who am I? So this picture you might have seen already, because all of you have gone through second chapter already. So here it is said very like you can see, this soul is moving from one body to another body. So Prabhupada asked this question. Is it very difficult to know Kshetra versus Kshetrajna, body versus soul? Is it something very difficult, science? Prabhupada is asking that such a simple question. Is it very difficult thing? Yesterday, like we have done some local program here at our in-laws place, and like we had a gathering, and we have asked this question: who are you? And like surprisingly, everyone gave this because they are the first time they are attending this course and like Bhagavad Gita class. So they said, who are you? Then everyone said, I am a human being. So now Prabhupada also says, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a cat, I am a tiger, I am a plant. But who are you? Srila Prabhupada, when he went to at MIT University, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, he asked, so we know it's a big university even now also to get admission into MIT is not an easy thing. So you should have very good academic credentials and some some practical projects also. Yeah, I know some of my friends who are at MIT. It's not so easy. But Srila Prabhupada, who is not a either a big engineer or big scientist, but Srila Prabhupada, based on the authority of Bhagavad Gita, he asked in MIT, he said, is there any department in this entire university which can distinguish between living body and the dead body? But all great head of the departments, professors are there. It was a pin drop silence there in the entire that conference hall, in that auditorium. No one could answer this, and this is surprising. Who are you? Is there any department which can say that what is the difference between dead body and the living body? So even doctors cannot say. So you can understand things. So, and Prabhupada in one more school, he raised a child and asked, what is this? This is my hand, this is my eye, this is my belly, this is my leg, this is my tongue. But Prabhupada, so, but who are you? You are saying my, but who are that my? This no one has this answer actually. So, but we know from this Bhagavad Gita, who am I? I am a spirit soul. I am changing bodies in this lifetime itself, from childhood to boyhood to youth to the old age, and then when the body becomes useless, then I leave this body. So such a great answer is given by the Lord. Why? Because Krishna is able to tell, because he is behind this creation. He has created. So he's a creator, he's a maintainer, he's a destroyer. So that's why he's able to see anyone. If like I also work in corporates, like any project, one of the big challenge in the software industry is we write big codes, and when we have to resign the organization and go to another company, the people cry there. Why? Because we have to give knowledge transfer. And in the knowledge transfer, someone who is very new to that field, they are assigned, and then they cry really because there's a lot of pressure is there, because they don't know that. And if suddenly some customer asks on this issue, and the manager puts a lot of pressure on that employee. So even simple code, when we are transferring from one person to other person, so they really cry. But but Krishna is very simply saying, because he has created this, is maintaining, and is going to destroy also without any attachment. So all of you must have known the story. Cage is there. So one woman, one lady, she has a beautiful gold cage, and in that gold cage she kept a parrot, and every day she's polishing the gold cage, but she forgot to feed the parrot. After 15 days or 1 month, that parrot died, and she thought, what happened? I'm just every day cleaning. So this entire current civilization is like cleaning the golden cage. What is that? This only taking care of this body, they forgot to take care of the soul. So what happens? Then parrot will die. So similarly, this entire society is in a chaotic situation, and it's full of distress. So now not only the question comes, Kshetra and Kshetrajna, the concepts we are discussing. So there are two Kshetrajnas. One is the uh, individual soul, and the other is, Krishna is telling, that is a Paramatma. You can see how beautiful. So this is the beauty of our science. It gives the precise details. So it's not only said Paramatma. Paramatma means how he looks, what are his hands, what he wears, and how does he look. So many details are given. So this is exactly how Paramatma looks, who stays within our dirty heart actually. So but Krishna very mercifully stays with all the living entities. So he is not only the knower. There are two knowers. One is individual, so who is only aware only of this body, but the second knower is there. Who is the second knower? Is the Lord Krishna. Is the Lord Krishna. Is the second knower. He is such a knower. He knows what is happening within your body. He also knows what is happening within my body. He also knows what is happening within the body of a worm in a stool. You understand? Worm in a stool. Have you ever seen? But Krishna knows what's happening within the, because he's personally sitting within the heart. So now you can see he's the second Kshetrajna. So, and is not only second Kshetrajna, is the proprietor, actual proprietor. Now you can see that how is a proprietor? We can say, I gave birth to my child. I am the proprietor of my child's body. But can you protect your child's body forever? We can't protect our child from any diseases. And in fact, if you carefully analyze, I have not, as a father and mother, I have not created the body of my child. No, just simply father and mother unite. No, many times it fails also. And even if it is successful, it takes 9 months. What are you doing in 9 months within that womb? We are not doing anything. And entire things are done by Krishna. And he's saying that I am this Paramatma who is the proprietor of all the bodies, your body, my bodies. So what does this signify? So when, see, you are staying in a rented house. So can you claim this is your house? And can you do anything, whatever you want that with that house? So what Lord Krishna is saying is, this is not your body. So since if it is not your body, then how can you claim that this is your body and you have the right to use it in any way what you want to use? So no. So Krishna is telling that you are not the proprietor of this body. So what you need to do, you can't use it whimsically as per your wish. If you use it, you will be punished. And that's what happens in this chapter, Lord Krishna says. So just like, a citizen, king, both of them have the land. But citizen has a small patch of the land, but king has a large land. So, but even citizen land is also under the jurisdiction of the king's land. Okay. So like that. Similarly, our body, maybe I am the individual knower. I am thinking that I am operating it, but no, this body is owned by Krishna as a Paramatma. He's there within the heart, he's observing. So Krishna is always superior to the living entity. Many have in the current society, when I was in my childhood or in my college days also, I also have this misconception that everyone is a god. So everyone is a god. You can become god. I can become god. No, this is a uh, biggest misconception. No one can be god. Here Krishna is clearly saying, I am always superior. A jiva, even in a liberated state, is a very inferior, is subordinate to the Krishna. So now I'll tell you an interesting story. No, of course, this chapter, little philosophical. So please don't sleep. But it's a very interesting chapter. You will really relish. So one story is there. There's a guru and disciple are there. Generally in our olden days, children used to go to a Gurukula, they stay with the teacher, whatever teacher says, they have to do that service. Then only our traditional way of learning education knowledge means they don't just give knowledge. First of all, they assess the student and they understand whether the student is capable of taking this knowledge or not. So that's a unique thing. But currently what we see, we give the same knowledge to everyone and people use it in very, they misuse it. So we see some like bomb is there. So many misuse has happened with the usage of the even the current knowledge. But but earlier days, guru teaches nicely, but student has to serve the teacher as per the wish of the teacher. That's what in Bhagavad Gita also Krishna says, Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. So one time Guru told all the disciples, all the students, teachers told all the students, today I am giving you, all of you, one fruit, maybe some fruit. So he gave every student one fruit and asked each student, please go to the place and eat that fruit and come where no one is seeing, observing you. So then each student went, like one student went, because ashramas mean generally they are in the forest area nearby the bank. So one student went near the hilly area and ate and came back. One student went to the well area and where wells are there. So he went and saw, and then he saw, observed that no one is there, and he ate the fruit and came back. And someone went to the river, under the river also he took, and then he came back. But one student, all students except one student, he came and teacher asked, everyone asked, all of you are eaten, like have you took this fruit? So everyone replied, but one student. Teacher saw one student did not eat, and teacher especially asked that student, why you did not eat? So the student explained that, sir, sir, that I saw wherever I gone, I saw someone is observing me, someone is following. Even I went into the dense parts of the forest, I saw someone is with me, someone is observing me. Someone is observing me so closely that I could not eat, I could not follow your instruction. And the teacher appreciated the student. So we know from this Kshetrajna concept, who is that person who is following us? You can also do this experiment when all of us we have done something or some wrong things in our life. So definitely when we are about to do some wrong thing, Krishna as a Paramatma gives indication, please don't do it. But we did not listen because we did not have the training of Bhagavad Gita to understand that. We did not listen and we have committed that sinful act. So who is that person who is watching? That Krishna is a Paramatma, who is a second Kshetrajna. Actually, he is the primary Kshetrajna. So he is always observing. So as we can learn from this in story, that he always observes, he follows us. So what does also this means? Now, one of the biggest problem in the current society is the loneliness. Just to come out of this loneliness, now we have so much social media, Facebook, Instagram, this, that. But still people feel lonely especially at the time of COVID, people are suffering from this. And of course, all of you know, right? Loneliness is a big problem. Even though you are with family, you still feel lonely. But we can know from, and that's why student of Bhagavad Gita is never under depression, is never under distress. He knows, I am always with my best friend. Who is that best friend? Krishna is there always with me. So that's why it's such a wonderful knowledge. Krishna has blessed the entire creation with this knowledge. So we should take advantage of this knowledge. We can understand this knowledge only in the human form of life. So now the question is, what is knowledge? We said Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and then knowledge and the process of knowledge also we'll discuss. Okay, knowledge. So I kept this picture very specifically whenever we speak of knowledge. So only intelligent can understand the knowledge. So, and our brain is involved. So one part of the brain is involved in learning something, other part of brain is involved in something. And when we speak knowledge means for us mathematics, physics, biology, chemistry, are so many advanced subjects within this broad sections of science. We see studying them is means like I have knowledge. So if I complete my engineering or my MBBS, everyone feel, oh, now is a knowledgeable person. Now actually those who have done engineering, those who have done doctor, they really can understand who is a sensible person. They understand. Now I know, I don't know anything. Even within that a smaller section of the knowledge, also I don't know anything. But of course, so Bhagavad Gita is not such kind of knowledge. If you really learn Bhagavad Gita, all your questions will be answered, and there is no question remains for you. No question remains for you, and you can really that's why our original constitutional position is Saccidananda, means we are full of knowledge, and we have that knowledge. Now it is covered. So now Krishna explains what is this knowledge. So in 13.3 he explains. So Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi sarva kshetreshu bharata kshetra kshetrajnyo jnanam yatta jnanam matta mama. He says that differentiating kshetra and kshetrajna, and in all the kshetra I am present. So understanding this is a knowledge. So you understand, that's why you can see Krishna is the Paramatma is there, and all different bodies are there, and within the body soul is there. So understanding the soul sitting in the body, and the body and Krishna as a Paramatma is controlling all of them is knowledge. So one who is really in this knowledge, see, if you are expert in medicine or engineering or any other modern knowledge, modern concepts, at the time of distress, none of them can protect you. None of them can bring you out of the distress. That's why we see people committing suicides also. But this knowledge, when you understand in detail, it really helps. That's why it is called a life science. Life science means, in a life, we go through different emotions, we go through different desires, we go through different experiences. But this knowledge guides us in all our circumstances, whether we are distressed, how to deal with it, whether we are happy, how to deal with it, whether we are getting certain experience like lust, anger, greed, how to deal with it. This knowledge really helps. That's why this is called life science. All other knowledges are actually not life sciences. So now Krishna is going in detail and explaining. So now we have learned Kshetra, Kshetrajna, and what is in the knowledge. Now Krishna is going further into this. How this body is made up of, uh, how this body is made up of. So Krishna is giving what is the composition of the field of activity. Now you can understand, right? Jnana means analysis. Now is dividing the body into composition, into different compositions. So just like I was giving you this example, when you get a chemical, now you are dividing like hydrogen, oxygen, H2O2, and if you see benzene, there's a different kind of molecular combination. Is there different kinds of atoms are there? So division. So Krishna is also now dividing this body into like composition of the field of activity into 24 material elements. If you see, these are the basic building blocks. Everything, once you know these things, now you can see everything is made up of these things. Like we have first 5 gross elements. No? Panchabhuta, Panchamahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, ether. So similarly, there are 5 Jnanendriya, knowledge acquiring senses, eyes, ears, nose, tongue, touch. No? And there are 5 working senses. What? This voice, then legs, hands. With the knowledge acquiring senses, we acquire knowledge. Like, now you are seeing. Through seeing, you are gaining knowledge. That's why these are comes under Jnanendriya, knowledge acquiring senses, and Karmendriya. They comes under Karma means you are doing activity. Like your voice, you are speaking, you are doing some activity. That's why it's working senses. Apart from this, we have no sense objects. Like for eyes, what is that object? Form. For ears, sound. So 5 objects are there, and there are like mind. Mind is the controller of the senses. Above the senses is the mind, and intelligence, and then false yuga and pradhan. So Krishna is elaborately explaining about this field of activity. Now you can see this is is analyzing things. So now field of activity. So this aggregate of 24 elements is called field of activity. So detailed study of these elements in a preliminary way, it is told by Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, but in detailed study of these is there in Srimad Bhagavatam. Entire third canto, from third canto onwards, you can learn about this Sankhya philosophy. This is called as Bhagavad Sankhya philosophy. You can learn in detail in our Srimad Bhagavatam. No, Srimad Bhagavatam is a great book. It's like a postgraduate study after this Bhagavad Gita. You can learn Srimad Bhagavatam. So in that Bhagavatam, the creation of these elements, how they are working, that is very clearly explained. So are you not feeling amazed by these things? Here, these clearly basic building blocks are explained by Lord Krishna. It's so amazing. Now, if someone actually wants to do research, they can do research within the premises of Bhagavad Gita. Now they can clearly understand, oh, these are there. Now, how can we go further on it? So, of course, in this field of activity, body grows 6 changes. Like, in second chapter, you have learned like body burns, it grows, it stays, produces byproducts, and then decay, and at last stage vanishes. So this entire field of activity, kshetra, is a non-permanent. It's a material thing. So now the process of knowledge. So now you can see from the picture, Lord Srila Prabhupada is worshipping Sri Radha Krishna. So now what is the process of knowledge? How do you approach this knowledge? So we have to be humble. So I don't go into detail of these definitions, because you can learn from 8 to 12 shlokas. It is clearly explained about this. But I tell, humility means one should not be anxious to have the inclination to be even expecting respect from others. Of course, this is a complex definition Srila Prabhupada gives, but simple words, humility means following the orders of Lord Krishna. So current society, you can see no one is humble. They don't want to follow instructions of Krishna. If you are humble, you can follow someone. If you're not humble, you feel that I know everything. Why should I hear? And we hear such arguments. I know Bhagavad Gita, being born in India, and from my childhood, I know Bhagavad Gita, I know Krishna, I know Rama, what you are going to teach. So it generally, people are arrogant, but to approach this knowledge, to learn this knowledge, humility is required. Pridelessness, non-violence. Non-violence means we should not harm any animals. Of course, Prabhupada gives certain definition in this shloka. Tolerance. People are highly intolerant. For even small things, they fight. Approaching a bona fide spiritual master is very important. We don't want to see for everything. For every subject, we go to a school or a university and learn from a teacher. But feel this is the only subject we should learn on our own. I know everything, I need not to learn from anyone. No. But Krishna is saying that if you want to learn this knowledge, you need to approach a bona fide spiritual master, bona fide spiritual teacher who are following this Bhagavad Gita. And most important thing, Prabhupada says, important thing is constant and unalloyed devotion to Lord Krishna. Devotion to Lord Krishna, because Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is saying that who can understand this? Bhaktosime sakacheti. One of the preliminary qualification is one should be a devotee of Lord Krishna. If one is not a devotee of Lord Krishna, he may go through entire Bhagavad Gita. It is like licking honey from the outside bottle without opening so he can't really get that nectar. So like that. So one should be a devotee of Lord Krishna, and this is the most important. If one is a devotee of Lord Krishna, he can get all the other qualities. And is saying that please understand Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi. So birth, death, old age and disease, they are actually the miseries. You please analyze this. Please don't see current society, what happened? Death. Okay, we can't deal with the death. Let's leave it aside. Old age. We can't do it anything. Let's leave it aside. That's the old age homes. All the old people go there and then die. We have just kept these problems aside. Disease, of course, current society is working on it, but one after another diseases are coming. We are not able to completely remove the disease from the society. From the past society to the current society, so many diseases have come up. Of course, that's itself a different topic. So Krishna is saying, you please analyze. So here, this is the way of approaching knowledge. And one more angle for this shloka also. When you are in Krishna consciousness, you can judge, are these qualities are coming within you? So this is a checklist. So I was saying checklist. This is a kind of checklist. Krishna has given 20 qualities. We can assess ourselves whether it's quality to the proportion. We have these qualities to the proportion. We are able to apply this knowledge. Okay, I am not discussing in detail because we have very short time. So I'll go fast. So object of the knowledge, and it's important thing, right? Like whenever we are learning something, what is the object of the knowledge? So, but no, Bhagavad Gita clearly says what is the object of knowledge. Krishna is the object of knowledge. Even if you learn entire Bhagavad Gita, but if you are not understand who Krishna is and rendering devotional service to him is the goal, then you have missed the ultimate object of the knowledge. Then you have just simply learned, but really didn't understand anything. So object of the knowledge, Krishna is telling about this in clearly. So like that. So now what is Jnaya? In under the Jnaya, actually Krishna is telling two things are there. One is the soul, one is the super soul. He's talking in a different context now. So these are the object of the knowledge. So Krishna explains that soul is eternal, beginningless, because you cannot trace when the soul has came in contact with the material nature. No one can trace out. And all of us know this from this Bhagavad Gita. This soul does not take birth. Like, even you can understand. Now the question comes that when mother and father, they unite. No, I'm giving birth to a child. But the question, it's an illusory thing. That's why until and unless soul is entered into the womb, what happens? Even though mother and father, they unite, even number of times, that womb, that pregnancy is not going to be successful. And all of you must be knowing it. So that's why. But soul does not take birth. Soul is given a body but does not take birth. So yeah. Now in the Jnaya, two things. One is about the soul and one is about the super soul. Now Krishna is saying about him that one of my specialities, I'm all pervading. Sarvata pani padam tat sarvatokshi shiro mukam sarvata shruti malloke sarvam avritya tishtati. Saying that my hands, my legs, my eyes, my heads, my faces are everywhere. So now you can understand Krishna not only as a Paramatma within our heart, is also everywhere, all pervading. Now you can understand we are never alone. We are never aloof from Krishna. So that's why big question comes. Now I'm chanting holy names. Many people ask Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This is a Mahamantra. It's a biggest prayer to Lord Krishna. So now the question comes: is Krishna is hearing? No, but this shloka says Krishna's ears are everywhere. He is hearing. Now we also offer bhoga to Lord Krishna, foodstuffs to Lord Krishna. Whether Krishna accepts, he's saying everywhere are my hands. So if everywhere are my hands, why can't the hands of Lord Krishna are there in temple? So now Krishna accepts that foodstuffs also. And he has a legs. That's why when Draupadi called, Krishna immediately came from Dwaraka to Hastinapura. Otherwise, without legs, how can one walk? So that's what Krishna is telling about his all-pervading nature. So now, but he can extend his hand without, like if I have to extend my hand, I can extend only few inches or few feet. But even if someone is a dhyana yogi, we get some mystic opulences, he can extend to certain extent. But Krishna can extend without limit. He can accept anyone offers a flower, a fruit, or water. Anywhere, in any part of the creations you offer, Krishna will accept. There is no hindrance on it. And all of us can offer these things very nicely. These are available. Even a poor person can offer. But we just have to have love for Krishna to offer this. Okay. So Krishna will accept. There's no doubt about it. And Krishna can hear our chanting is everywhere, like Draupadi. Draupadi called and Krishna came. Even in our life, and those who are practicing this Bhagavad Gita, they have these experiences. Krishna really reciprocates with those devotees, even now also. I just remember one story, like this is one of our ISKCON devotee sharing her experience. She was from foreign country, and like that night, safety of women is everywhere. It's a precarious situation, and especially when they are in the night, it's really a risky situation for women to be out. So one time our ISKCON devotee, that Mataji, she was serving little late, and then when she stepped out of the temple, she saw that no one is there, and she was walking, and two people, like one person, one black, like one gunda was following her, and she observed, and she was trying to walk, and then fastly, and he was following her, and she has a chanting way. So for devotees, only shelter is Lord Krishna. In any difficult situation, only shelter is Lord Krishna, like Draupadi. So that Mataji, she started chanting the holy names of Lord Krishna, and then she was walking, and then she finally reached the home. And later she understood why this. Like later in the next day, she saw in the paper this. I think I told the story to some of you maybe. So later in the next day, she saw in the newspaper that the same Gunda who was following her, he had raped one other young girl. So she was shocked. Why he left me, and why he did not touch me at all. So then she went there and inquired from him. Then he said that I saw two boys who are following you. Like I saw behind you, there are two boys, and who stopped me. And she asked, "What are the complexion?" He explained exactly. One is in a bluish color, one is in a whitish color, and later she could understand they are none other than Krishna Balram. So this is a recent story, like recent experience of another devotee. Krishna now also reciprocates. Krishna is some not mythological figure. He's the absolute truth. He's as we saw in the previous slide. His ears, his eyes, his legs are everywhere. Not only that, he's personally present within our heart. So he's personally guiding and blessing all the devotees. So is it not wonderful to be in touch with such a person? And in fact, our purpose of our life should be to re-establish our relationship with Lord Krishna. So, but one difference is there. He also has legs. He has also eyes. So then, what is the difference between our eyes and our legs? I have my eyes. I can't see till no. Even after this room, I can't see. I can't extend my hand, but Krishna is able to extend. So you can understand there's a difference between Krishna's senses and my senses. Krishna's senses are transcendental. That's why they are called nirguna. Many people challenge that. Can you show God? First of all, these chapters explain that you cannot see God with these dirty senses. You can see God, but there is a process. That's why there's a process of knowledge is given here. You can see the God. Not only you can see God, you can shake hand with the God. In Bhagavatam, it comes. Lord Krishna shook his hand with Brahmaji. You can shake his hand with Lord Krishna. You can sit with him. You can play with him, but not in the current state. We are ignorant now. So, but there is a process given to it. So, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God will see you. So that for that purpose, we need to mold our lives. So then Krishna says, oh, this person, yeah, he is following my instructions. So then God will be attracted to see you. So we don't want to see God. We want that God should come and see us. Is it not such a wonderful thing? It's such a wonderful thing. So of course our Acharya says it's not out of no puffed up nature, but we don't challenge, oh God, please come. I want to see you now. No. We want to mold our life, act in such a way that God will be interested to see us. Among all the children of yours, you will always be caring for that child who is submissive, who wants to follow you. So similarly, Krishna. So now, but Krishna explaining he has some contradictory qualities. Okay, and I think I need to go fast. So he has some contradictory qualities. He exists outside and inside. Is it something like if you are inside a room, can you be outside the room? No, it is not possible. But for Krishna, it is possible. So that's why every day we sing Narsimharati, Bahir Narsimha, Hrudaya Narsimha is there outside also, is there inside also. So there is no worry at all for your security, for your safety. If you are with Krishna, then no worries, because Krishna is always with you. Even your father, your mother, your children, your wife, your best friend, they can't be with you all throughout. But Krishna can be with you. So now please understand with whom you have to cultivate your relationship. So although he is very far, he is near to us. As I said, he stays in Golak Vrindavan, but he's also here with us as a Paramatma. So now question comes, Krishna is explaining about it. See, Krishna just not simply saying I am there, but he's also explaining about some of his qualities in Bhagavad. If you go into Bhagavatam, these qualities are explained in much more detail. So like there is one example, Lord Krishna Prabhupada gives in this. There is one sun is there. If you keep different parts are there. In each part you see the sun. Okay, but sun is same one person only. Similarly, Krishna is one person, is there as a Paramatma in all the living entities. Can you see that Paramatma is divided? No, is the same person, but is the same but present in all. So this is the omnipotency of Lord Krishna. We are not, but if I am here, I cannot be in other place. But Krishna, even though is present within me, can be present within you and within all the other living entities also. So now the important concept Krishna is bringing up. So now the COVID has come. Everyone says, who is responsible for my suffering? I am suffering. These people like, now I'm keeping my mask and this and that. Of course, we should do it. But who is responsible for my suffering? I am going through, so many people ask this question. Why always God is unfair to me? I am doing so many good things, but why God is unfair to me? So people ask this question. Krishna is telling this concept. That's why if you learn Bhagavad Gita, you can only start loving God. You can only start loving Krishna. You can never blame him for any reason. Now he's saying that living entity is the cause of the various sufferings and enjoyment. If you see in third lines, he's saying Purusha Sukha Dukkana Bhoktritva Hetur Uchate. So he's saying that who is responsible for our suffering? We ourselves are responsible for our suffering. So this is such a wonderful concept. So if I'm in distressful situation, I need not to blame any other person for my suffering. So Krishna is explaining about the real evolution in this chapter also. Karanam guna sangasya sadasat yoni janmasu. Because we have learned so many concepts, like different fields are there, different bodies are there, like there are 8.4 lakh species are there. So now what is the criteria how Krishna will award such bodies? Now he's saying in the shloka, Karanam guna sangasya, according to your association with the modes of material nature. If you are associated with mode of goodness, you get a certain body. If you are associated with the passion, you get a certain body. If you are associated with ignorance, you get a certain body. If you are associated with a combination, you will get a certain body. So certain body you get. So Krishna is, and of course association with the three modes will study in the next chapter, 14th chapter. So you can learn about in detail in that chapter. So but evolution in the current, so like we know Darwin's evolution theory, it suggests a different evolution theory, but it is completely wrong. Krishna is giving how actual evolution happens. Based on their association with the different modes, they get a certain particular body. Body does not evolve into another body. Based on the evolution of the consciousness, he is given one body. He enters into a body. All the species are there, 8.4 lakh species, 8.4 million species are there. So based on the evolution of the consciousness, that particular living entity is given some body, not the Darwin's evolution theory. That is completely incorrect. So that's why it is called as a theory. But Krishna's evolution theory, it is from the day of the creation. But the question comes, okay, now I am associating with ignorance or passion or goodness, but who is witnessing this? Is there any witness? If you go to a court, a judge will ask, witness, who has seen this thing that someone has like you have committed the crime? Who has seen the witness? All of us, we are intelligent, right? We ask this question. Now Krishna is saying, who is the witness? Upadrishta anumanta cha bharta bhokta maheshwara. Upadrishta anumanta means, upadrishta means, so he's overseeing, he's constantly observing us because he's sitting just beside us and is only observing us. Anumanta means permitting. Whatever you are desiring, he permits. Without his permission, nothing can happen. We'll learn about that in coming slides also. So now you can see he's constantly observing and is permitting also. Without his permission, without his sanction, nothing can be done. So Krishna is saying, who is the witness? I am the witness. So now previous look what we learned. According to our association with particular modes of material nature, Krishna gives us the body. Now, but who is the witness to observe that association? Even myself, it's very tough for me to understand what exactly is my consciousness level, with what I'm associating. It requires some training and some practice to understand. Oh, I should only associate with certain things. I should not associate with certain things. But Krishna is expert. He knows what I'm associating with, and he is the witness, and he gives the award. Award as a certain body, certain like he makes me enter certain species. So now question is, ultimate sanction. So Krishna gives ultimate sanction. Without Krishna sanction, individual soul cannot do anything. Like, there is very nice thing in English or Hindi. Even a leaf can't move without the sanction of Lord Krishna. That sanction is required. Ultimate sanction comes from Lord Krishna. We cannot, even I cannot lift my hand. There are so many people who they want to lift their hands, but they cannot lift hand. Why? The power to lift hand is withdrawn by Krishna. Simple, all of you must be knowing, like, many people have this gastric problem and they can't evacuate also. So many people, they go to hospital just to come out of this disease. So, why? Because that power to evacuate is taken by Krishna from them, or it is partial only with them. So that's why even I cannot, but I proudly say, can you, oh God, please come and show me your face. We proudly say that. But whatever we are, the power to see, power to evacuate, power to drink, power to digest, they are all coming from Krishna. So, but what living entity does? He don't want to accept the Supreme Lord supremacy. He don't want to accept. He wants to reject. He always in the mood of reject. Why I should accept God? God, okay, God has created, or okay, even what is the God's role in my life? There's nothing. Let me enjoy my life. So, but one who is a serious student of Bhagavad Gita, they can understand how Krishna is intimately, so intricately connected with us in our life. So now the question comes, living entity has the minute independence. So what is this minute independence? Now I can choose whether Krishna or choose to accept Krishna, choose to reject Krishna. So that's why, because of our this misuse, I am suffering in this material world. And who is responsible for that? I am responsible. Why I am responsible? Because I am misusing my independence. I am misusing my independence to reject Krishna and to reject his words. So, but Krishna is very merciful. In spite of this, there are so many people who reject God. They say they don't accept God. But Krishna is very mercifully maintaining all of them, whether someone is atheist or not. He is maintaining them, giving air, water, everything. But for especially those who are inclined to understand actual truth, Krishna gives instructions, both from within and without. From within, he tells, oh, don't do this activity. This is going to be a cause of misery in your life. And so within, he gives us the guidance as a Paramatma, and without, he also tells about giving this Bhagavad Gita. So within, Krishna says in 10th chapter, Tesham Satatyuktanam Bhajatam Priti Purvakam Dadami Buddhiyogam Tam. Krishna gives knowledge. Krishna gives inspiration from within. From without, he is giving us Bhagavad Gita. From within, he is convincing. Don't get attracted to these material activities because they are not conducive for your happiness. So Krishna is merciful. In spite of our rejecting Krishna, he wants to help us. He wants us to guide us. So Krishna says, don't just give it up, this sense gratification, just turn toward me, then you will be happy. As long as you are turning your face against me, you can't be happy at all. So now the question comes, okay, now Krishna told about Paramatma, then but how can we perceive? What is the process of perceiving him? Okay, now just by hearing this now, many people, they may know God is there, but how can we perceive him? Krishna is also telling about the process here. Of course, he tells about the process in 2 shlokas. He tells about different process like karma yoga, jnana yoga, ashtanga yoga also. But he also tells in next shloka, he tells about the Shravanam Kirtanam process. So all the other yoga processes very difficult to follow in this Kali Yuga. So only process as told by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Huh? What is the Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, who is none other than Krishna himself? He came and told about us this process, Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaran. So Bhakti starts with Shravanam. So what is meant by the Shravanam? We should regularly come in the association of devotees and hear from them Bhagavad Gita, hear from them Srimad Bhagavatam, hear about Lord Krishna. Slowly, as we slowly keep on hearing about Krishna, we keep on understanding Krishna. Shravanam is very important. Hearing Bhagavad Gita regularly from the devotees, like for you, Prabhuji is there. So regularly come in touch with him and hear from him. So regularly come in touch with devotees and hear from them. Because if we don't constantly hear, we cannot perceive Krishna in our life. So Kirtanam and chanting. And the chanting is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Through this process of Shravanam and Kirtanam, we can understand, we can perceive the Krishna as a super soul. Otherwise, even though Krishna as a super soul is present in your heart, you can never, especially when you are doing sense gratification, you can never perceive him. You will not be interested in him. So this is the process. So now, here one more, like Krishna is telling life comes from life. There is one verse which, like, I only copied one line here. Kshetra Kshetrajna Samyogat. So now, like I was telling in the beginning, right? Bhagavad Gita changes your vision. So now, if you learn this chapter thoroughly, whatever you see in this creation, now you go outside of your room and you see everything. Now Krishna is saying, whatever you see, it's a combination of these two things only. So he gave very clear-cut answer. Whatever you are seeing in this existence, either it's a combination of kshetra or it's a kshetra or kshetrajna, or combination of them. See, now if you see any person, what are they? So body is there. Body is a kshetra made from the 24 elements, which are the energies of Lord Krishna. And in that body, that living entity is there. We is a kshetrajna, and not only that, second kshetrajna, Paramatma is also there. No, it is wonderful. Now anything you see, if you see through the eyes of Bhagavad Gita, Shastra Chakshu, Bhagavad Gita says Shastra Chakshu. So now after learning this science, when you see anything, now you see, oh, it's only combination of Kshetra and Kshetrajna. But wonderful thing is, anything that is growing without the touch of Kshetrajna, nothing is going to grow. Now if you see this body, when the child comes out, as long as the living entity, the soul is within the body, this body grows. Even similarly with the plants also, growth happens because life is there, and life is a symptom of what? Soul. As long as when soul exits the body, what happens? The body immediately starts decaying. Recently I was hearing from a devotee, who was also in Bangalore for some time, but now he's in Hyderabad. He's like, is a good preacher. So he was telling that when he was in Bangalore, he was teaching Bhagavad Gita course to some people. And like one Mataji, like later she called this Prabhuji, that my husband died. It's already late evening. So I am alone. Actually, no one is there to help me. Can you arrange someone to help me to take this dead body out? Then that Prabhuji said, it's already late. You please stay with this body throughout the night. And in the morning, I can arrange someone. This Mataji said that, Prabhuji, I cannot stay with this dead body. So now you can understand, throughout our life, we feel my husband, my wife, my children, we feel they are very, my dear, my parent, they are very dear to me. I cannot live without them. But when the same person leaves his body and the dead body is there, now the same wife who spent her life with that husband all throughout, at least half of her life, but when the husband died, she does not want to stay for a moment also. For a moment also, she does not want to stay, and she is afraid. I am alone. You are all through alone with that your husband only. So the Prabhuji is saying, so now we can understand, right? uh, without the superior touch, without the presence of the soul, nothing can grow. As soon as the soul exits this body, what happens? This body is going to decay. So this says that life comes from life. Kshetra kshetrajna samyogat. But what scientists are doing? They are only trying to analyze the kshetra. They are thinking life comes from matter. So by studying kshetra, they are trying to understand how life has evolved from the matter. So that's why Darwin's theory is also there. And this Big Bang theory is also there. Hadron Collider experiment. These are all experiments are to prove. They are attempting to prove from kshetra, which is of 24 elements, from this how life has evolved. But what Krishna is saying, Arey Baba, so what kshetra, with only kshetra cannot give you life. Kshetra, kshetragnaya, samyogat. Both of them together. Whatever you are seeing, any living entity, the combination of both. So if you study only foolishly 24 elements, is there any hope that they are going to arrive at how life is going to evolve from the matter? So a Gita student can understand they are actually doing a foolish attempt. Ultimately, they are wasting money and wasting their energy, time. That's it. They're never going to. So, whatever attempt they are going to do, no doctor, no scientist can ever come up with such a medicine that can protect a person from dying. They can never do. So, this is a challenge on the authority of Bhagavad Gita we can give to anyone. That's why Srila Prabhupada boldly said in MIT, is there any department which can tell what is the difference between living body and the dead body? So now you can see the wonderful knowledge. Who actually sees? So now we are all seeing. What I see, when I see immediately one object, I see how I want to enjoy that object. When I see a woman, I want to see how I can enjoy that woman. If I see some object, how I can enjoy the object. So I can only see from the perspective of my sense gratification. I don't actually see. I only see to gratify my senses. And this is everywhere happening. That's why so many criminal activities are happening. Anyone sees that, it is for me. So, but this is not actually seeing. What Lord Krishna is saying is actually seeing means you see the individual soul in all the living entities. Not only that, when you see along with the individual soul, I am also there. This is actually seeing. So, but what ignorant people see when they see only the body. They only see the external covering, kshetra. They don't see the kshetrajna within the body. And they think that this body is destroyed, everything is destroyed. This is such a nonsense philosophy. Body is destroyed, everything is destroyed. Only because of the propagation of that philosophy, they think so. Because everything is going to finish after this body, who is going to see after that? So let me enjoy to the fullest of my extent this body. So, but that's a foolish thing. That's a Bhagavad Gita. In terms of Bhagavad Gita, they are muda. So not only that, when you actually see with this perspective, equal vision is there. Now you don't distinguish someone as an animal, some not distinguishing in terms of the external thing. It does not mean you go and sit with a tiger, but you have an equal vision. You see anything. Oh, a living entity, because of his certain association with the modes of nature, he is awarded a particular body. Now he's struggling in that body, whether in a dog, whether in a cat. So now we want to bring equality in the society. Like female wants to be equal with the men. Communists want to bring the concept of equality. Like there should not be any capitalists. Everything should be owned by the government, and we should distribute the wealth equally to everyone. Labor wants to be equal with the rich, upper middle class, and everyone. We want to bring equality in the society. But on the external level, we can never bring equality in the society. Whether female wants to be equal with the male, that is not possible. Whether you want to bring society on an equal platform, that is also not possible. But with this Bhagavad Gita knowledge, equal vision can come. One can see equally. So what will happen when one can see actually like this? He will not degrade himself by this vision. Why? You don't exploit anyone now. You see, he is also part and parcel of Krishna. I should not exploit him. You will not be envious of any person. You will not be envious. You will not be exploitative. You will not do harm. Even to small ant also you will not do harm. Mrugari story is there. Even though he was a big hunter of deers, but later when he practiced the science of Krishna consciousness, what happened? He transformed his life into such a way that he even don't want to kill ants. Why? because he's seeing Krishna as a Paramatma is present in that, and you don't want to harm anyone. What we discussed, one of the process of knowledge is the non-violence. So such an important principles are there. You please go through that entire list. So when we actually become a sincere student of Bhagavad Gita, those qualities will come, and we will not degrade ourselves by this vision what Krishna is giving in this chapter. So don't you feel this such a wonderful knowledge? We want to bring equality. Now, please you can bring equality in the society with this vision. So what is our duty? So we should learn Bhagavad Gita ourselves very nicely, and later we distribute this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita to everyone. Then society can come to this Vasudhaivaka Kutumbakam. All can live under one umbrella of Lord Krishna. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. So now, doer. So this is the almost last concept Krishna is telling in this chapter, but this is a very important concept. So actually, then what is the role of the living entity? Krishna is telling about that self does not do anything. 30th shloka to 32nd shloka, almost he says that Atma does not do anything. Na kuryate, na lipyate. It does not do anything, it does not get entangled. So what exactly living entity does? Living entity is desiring either to accept the will of Krishna or reject Krishna or accept Maya. Either Krishna or no Krishna. So then what super soul is doing? He is sanctioning. Living entity is desiring. Super soul is sanctioning. Material nature means Prakriti. 3 modes they are executing. So I will give you an example. Actually, to understand this concept, it really takes, I will tell you why. Because to understand this chapter itself, one has to become a devotee of Lord Krishna. So otherwise, it's very tough to understand. Because Krishna is again and again tells this concept. Even in the other chapter, Prakrite Kriyamanane Gunai Karmani Sarvasaha Ahankara Vimudatma Kartaham Iti Manyate. He's saying that actually whatever you are doing actually is executed by Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarva. They are executed by 3 modes. But a conditioned living entity, because of his false identification with the material nature, he thinks Gune Karmani Sarvasa Ahankara, because of false ego, Vimudatma, Murk, Kartaham iti manate. I am doing everything. So what I will take one example. Now, all of you must be liking eating. Everyone, actually, is there any person who does not like eating? Everyone, they almost, there's one concept actually. What is that? Actually, we live to eat. But now the concept is we eat to live. So that's why so many restaurants have come up just to satisfy our this small tongue. We are eating to live. But so now we eat. So now you are eating. Now when the food goes inside digestive system, for example, now you are not a doctor, you are a layman. You don't know anything about the functioning of this body. Now a layman is also eating food. It is getting digested. Is there anything he is doing to digest that food? Anything is he doing? The food it gets swallowed, and it goes into the intestine, small intestine, large intestine, and liver is secreting some hormones or some chemicals through which this food gets digested. But what exactly as a soul you are doing? As a soul you are not doing anything. This body, even though I am as a soul present residing in this body, I don't have control over this body. This is the amazing concept Krishna is telling. Now he told about Kshetrajna. Kshetrajna is a soul, our super soul. Kshetrajna as a soul is there within the Kshetra, but that soul does not have any control over this Kshetra. It does not control this body. Now you have eaten food. Now you don't know what is happening. That's why what happens sometimes, this food becomes a food poison. And this same food, you will suffer from diarrhea. Sometimes food does not get digested and forms gas. There's a gastroenterologism, that department is also there. So you don't know, same food you have eaten, sometimes it is giving you energy, sometimes it is forming gas within the body, sometimes diarrhea, sometimes infection, food poison, and some people die also. So now you can understand. If you have control over this body, if you think you are the doer, then if I'm getting the disease, if I know that I'm going to get a disease, then I will stop that, right? And even those who have diabetes, they know externally also, if I eat this, that is going to be detrimental to my health. But still they do. But in a other way, what I am saying is, I don't know what is happening within my body. That's why those who are going to get cancer 6 months before, they are very healthy. But and the next day they came to understand, I have cancer, I'm going to die in 6 months. Now, for example, if a soul knows that in this body there's a cancer cell is there, then he could have done something, right? But as a soul does not have any control over the body. That's why Krishna is saying, material nature executes. So this body is made of 24 elements, as I said, right? This body is made up of 24 elements, and the 24 elements came from three modes. Some elements came from mode of goodness, some elements came from mode of passion, some elements came from mode of ignorance. This is explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in detail in Sankhya philosophy. So that's why I'm saying, living entity, what it does. So he desires that I want to lift my hand. But this action happens very swiftly that we can't understand. But through the eyes of Bhagavad Gita, we can understand. Like I gave one example. If you go deeply into this example or any other example, you can understand. If you want to lift hand, you desire that I want to lift hand. But the super soul, what does? He observes, he sanctions, and the material nature lifts that hand. So yeah, so anything happens like that. So now you feel that, oh, I'm working very hard to earn money. So it's a foolishness that just by my hard work I don't get, if I don't become rich. Otherwise, so many people in this world, they would have become millionaires. Super soul sanctions. That's why we see, we like, like I got one all India rank 50 when I was writing GATE in my third year. So then immediately my greed has grown. In my fourth year, I wanted to get all India first rank. My greed has increased. Of course, I could not get it. But you know why? Super soul don't sanction. Even though I might have worked very hard, super soul does not sanction. Until and unless super soul sanctions, that desire of yours can't be manifested into an action. And all of you can very easily understand how many of your desires got fulfilled. If your desires got fulfilled, you would not have worked very hard. So all of us have some desires. So like that. So this concept is very important. Living entity has a very minute independence in desiring either to accept Krishna or to reject Krishna. That's it. And rest of the things are sanctioned by Krishna and executed by material nature. That's why Krishna says, Maya Dekshena Prakriti. This Prakriti is working under my nature. So after learning this, do you feel that this Bhagavad Gita is not relevant to the current society? It is relevant even now at this moment also. So, but the spirit soul bewildered, then he feels that he is the actual doer, but he is not the actual doer. So Krishna is to explain this concept, is explaining, is giving one analogy. I was telling that Krishna is not some impractical person because we can't understand what is this. So he's giving one practical example. He's saying that you can see from 13.33, he's saying, just like in a sky, yata sarvagatam sokshmat, akasham nopal. Just like in the sky, so many objects may be there, airplane may be there, clouds may be there, but it does not mix with any object. Similarly, tatatma nopalipyate. Like that, even the soul stays in this body, but soul does not mix with these 24 elements. This is such a wonderful thing Krishna is giving. Even the soul is within the body, does not mix with the body. So this kind of creation only Krishna can do. And this creation is self-replicated. This process is self-replicated. Why? It appears there is no intervention of the God. As if these things are happening automatically. Wife and husband, they are combining, child is burning and is growing, and everything is happening nicely. But the soul, it does not mix with body. So he also giving one more example. Just like when sunlight is there, entire sky gets illuminated. Because soul is there within the body, entire body is conscious. That's why even if you get pricked up by thorn at the foot, you will immediately feel the pain. So why? Because of this soul, entire body is conscious. Just like because of sun, this entire universe is illuminated. So we are almost end. This is the last slide almost. So the entire purpose is in this Bhagavad Gita chapter 13. What we have learned is we know analyzing what is body, what is the soul, what is super soul, and we also understood how to understand this knowledge, like humility, like that there. But important thing is we should render devotional service. So we have to become Lord Krishna And for that, we need to accept spiritual teacher. We need a devotee's guidance. Just like we require teacher in every learning any subject, we also require a teacher to learn Bhagavad Gita. All of us have learned Bhagavad Gita like that. So without accepting a teacher and his whatever he says, if we don't accept, we cannot learn Bhagavad Gita, because this knowledge works in that way only. So now, this is the last slide. So now you have tomatoes, you have carrot, you have dhania. So what will you do? Like I have put one soup. All of you must have like done sometimes offered tomato soup to Krishna. So for tomato soup, you require some tomatoes, maybe some carrot grating, and then dhania and salt. So finally, with these ingredients, you prepare. So now you, after just learning about these ingredients, if you don't prepare soup or any other dish, then it's a useless to learn all these elements itself. So similarly, if you have learned different analysis, like what is body, what is soul, what is this, but after analyzing this entire chapter 13, if we are not arriving at performing devotional service to Lord Krishna, then it's like useless. So that's why the jnani is, what do? They read all these things, but they say Krishna is Nirakar, Krishna is light, we don't have anything relationship with him, he's a Nirakar Brahman, he's a impersonal light, we don't have anything. So that concept is completely rejected by Bhagavad Gita. So if you are learning this chapter nicely, as I said in the beginning, there is a box, there are lids, are there, 2 lids. But what is protecting? The bhakti. So both of these lids will help us to attain that diamond. Diamond is a devotional service, pure devotional service. So by learning this chapter, we should arrive at the object of the knowledge is Krishna and render devotional service to Krishna. So this is the aim. So always please chant Hare Krishna and be happy. So, actually I have gone little very fast because of running out time. Of course, to explain this 13th chapter in detail, it really takes time. Okay, I am now like, if any one of you have any questions or comments, now please open to all of you. I hope you have learned something and released it.
Yes, Prabhuji, I think so. It was a great revision of, because this is not an easy concept to understand all these things. And many a times we see that one word has 2 meanings, like Kshetragya has both soul, super soul, Gneya also both soul, super soul, then Purusha also referring to both. And Prakriti also, like here in this chapter, it's material nature, but otherwise we know it's also
True.
And the complicated bit, confusing part was verse number 32, where it is said that soul is never entangled. But I was discussing with them that in purport of 14.1, Prabhupada has explained that soul, does get entangled. It is not that soul doesn't get entangled, but it is in this 32, when it is said that soul is not doer and is not entangled. I heard from some other devotee that it primarily is referring to soul of a seeker, like who has Gyan Chakshu. For them, what is right?
Yes, so actually in Bhagavatam, it is very clearly explained. So the soul entanglement, I will send you personally, Prabhuji, that particular context also. So soul's entanglement in the body is like an illusion. It's a dream. So just like when we get up of that dream, so we don't feel, okay, now I'm out of the dream. So the soul's entanglement within the body is like that, illusion only. Soul does, like as Krishna himself is saying, soul does not mixes. So where is the point of entanglement? But soul is covered by these elements. Covered by this element. So ultimately, in one sense, it is not entangled. So it's an illusion. Yeah, from the point of eternity, it's an illusion. So otherwise, it's a very wonderful thing. So now we feel in our life that we are the doers for everything. So I should work hard and do everything. But when you understand this chapter, now you do your part, because in the other chapter, 18th chapter, Krishna says that 5 factors of action. In that he says our endeavor is also there, but that is not the only part. So ultimately, material nature and the super soul as a sanctioner, they are doing. So when we learn this, then We don't excessively work hard unnecessarily for insignificant sense gratification. So otherwise, all the people are there in constant distress. What is going to happen to my life tomorrow? Or if I'm going to not going to work like this, we should do our best part. But that is not the aim of this life. So this 13th chapter clearly says that. Any
And
other?
Prabhuji, when we say like it's in context to the entanglement, like when we say that soul, and what do we mean by soul? Entangled means entangled in this material world, and when we talk about liberation, is it that we talk about liberation from this material world, right? The two terms.
Yeah, it's true. Actually, in Bhagavatam, it says both of these are like illusory states only. But yes, Prabhuji. So generally, when we say about the liberation from the bondage of these 24 elements, Prabhuji. That's why Kshetrajna will come out of the Kshetra. He will no longer be under the loss of the Kshetra. But one thing Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita also, like even within this body also, even within this body also one can be liberated.
Yeah.
So just like there's one example, there's a coconut. All of you might have seen coconut. You know, coconut, what happens? After some time, it becomes a separate shell, even though it is within that coconut, but it becomes a separate shell. So similarly, even the soul is there within the body when it's really self-realized, when it's Krishna conscious. So even the soul is within this body, it is liberated. So in that sense also, the soul has that ability while being within this body, it can also be liberated. There is nothing like only when we are out of this body, it's liberated. Because liberation means now it is not under the control of the three modes of the nature. When realized, he is under direct the control of internal potency of Lord. That's why Rupa Goswami specifically says, what is the secret? Iha yasya hare dasya karmana manasagira nikilas api avastasu jivan mukta uchyate. He say explicitly is using jivan mukta uchyate. In this life also, in this body also, if you engage your body, mind and speech in service of Lord Krishna, you can be liberated even within this body. So that's why one of the beautiful concept of pure devotional services, devotees, they are not interested in liberation. Every day we recite Shikshashtakam. What is that? Mama Janmani Janmanishware Bhavatad Bhakti Rahit. I don't want liberation. There are so many famous prayers of Vrutrasura is there. What he says, Nanaka Prishtam, Nachaparameshyam, Na Sarvabhaumam, Na Rasadipati, Na Yoga Siddhir, Apunar Bhavamba, Samanjasata Virahyaga. He's saying that I don't want any post, even liberation also I don't want. I don't want anything. Even Kapil Dev in third canto says that Salokya Sashti Samipya Sarupya Ekattum Apyuda Diyamanam Na Grunanti Vinamat Sevanam Jana. Even if I give my devotees 5 kinds of liberation, my devotees say, it's insignificant. I don't want. What do you want then? Vinamat Sevanam Jana. I only want your service. I don't want anything else. Like we know for Dhruva Maharaj also, when Lord Krishna appeared, he says that Varamna Jachi. I was looking for these broken glass pieces, but now I got big diamond. I don't want anything else. So many in Bhagavatam it is explained. Narayana para sarvena kutascha bibhyati. Devotees, they are not interested in liberation, whether they are in hellish planet or heavenly planet, they are only interested in service of Lord Krishna. So that's why we see Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, they are all pure devotees of Lord Krishna. They are not engaged, they are liberated souls, but they come to serve Krishna. Why? To take all of us back to Krishna's abode. That is the purpose. Otherwise, even they are the perfect example. They are not entangled, liberated. So in this body also liberation is happening. So liberation in that sense is we no longer under the control of the 3 modes of material nature.
And even a soul in animal body is not entangled.
Yeah, that's what Krishna says. Na kuryate na lipyate. Of course, Prabhupada very specifically mentioned here one word. Those who are fixed in Brahman vision,
right,
they are not entangled. Prabhupada clearly using that word. But Krishna is next slide is saying that soul does not mix with anything. See, Prabhuji,
Yeah.
what is it? Like entanglement means you should be bound, right? Like, there is one person who is arrested by ropes. Now he's entangled. But Krishna is saying that this is not even mixing. Then how can you bond it? So it's a covering. So like that, Prabhuji. But at least from here we can understand those who are fixed in Brahman concept, they are liberated. They are not entangled.
Entangled is, yeah. Okay, so it's basically in relation between the body and the soul, in that sense that soul is in itself a separate identity, which we understand, right? It's separate. And when we see when we talk about influence of modes of nature
Yes,
on
Prabhuji.
on soul, so is it the same as that?
Prabhuji, one more thing also, soul, these modes of material nature, they can never, this living entity comes under the influence of the modes of the material nature. How? Because of the false ego. False ego is one that substance which makes soul feels that now I am this body. That's why there's also concept, even in the happiness and distress, what I am experiencing is not the experience of the soul. Even though I am feeling distress, that is the experience of the subtle body only. That is not the experience of the soul.
False
So,
ego.
Jada Bharat, that's why if you read Jada Bharat Pastami, says that King Rahugana says, you are scolding me like this. Don't worry, I don't have anything. You please scold me. You are scolding this body. I don't have anything to do with this body. So, you can understand the level of their consciousness. You are saying, I am not experiencing this body. Happiness and distress, that's why Matra Sparshastu Kaunteya, Shitoshna Sukha Dukkha, the Agama Payano Nitya, Stam Titikshvasu, they are arising out of the sense perception. They are the experience only limited to this subtle body and the gross body. Soul does not, that's why it's called Saccidananda. It is never said Nirananda. Even the soul is within this body. But one problem is there here is, soul is identifying itself with the body. So now what is feeling because of this false ego? This body is getting some distress. So that is distress of mind. This body is getting happiness. That is distress of mind. But soul is neither interested in this material happiness nor material distress. It is always happy, but that is covered.
But when soul, yes, I understood this point very clearly. So it clearly shows that soul is Sacchidanand, right?
Yes.
And yeah, it's because of the covering of the soul, which is subtle covering of false ego is part of that, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
So because of false ego, we are identifying ourselves with the body, subtle
Yes,
body and the gross body, right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
And it's because of soul's identification,
misidentification
with the body
Mm.
is causing the soul to transmigrate.
Yes, Prabhuji. True.
Right?
Only because of misidentification. And that's why among all the layers, false ego is the finest layer. It's very even coming in devotional service, to give up the false ego is very tough. That's why in Shikshastakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said false prestige. Divide of false ego, false prestige. It's very tough. Even coming to when we are coming and practicing the science of Bhagavad Gita, it takes sufficient amount, so much time to come out of, to break this layer. It's a finest layer. That's why he's saying Prakrite Kriyamanani Gunai Karmani Sarvasaha Ahankara Vimudatma. Because of this Ahankara, he is thinking, I am doing everything. Because of this Ahankara, Prabhuji, because of this Ahankara. And the purpose of Ahankara is that purpose only, misidentification.
So this misidentification different from entanglement?
Yeah, because of misidentification, now we are in this material world.
Right. In a sense, like, yeah.
Similar
Because of,
concept.
yeah.
Yes,
but otherwise they are two different things, right?
Yeah, false ego is a covering over soul.
Yeah.
But it's a very no, Prabhuji, it's so close to the soul. It's almost next to the soul, that layer is there.
Right. Right.
So Prabhuji, subtle things, our modern science don't have the
Yes.
science of understanding subtle things.
Yeah. Yesterday, Madhvi Radhika was asking, Madhvi Radhika, are you in position to ask this question to Saccidananda Prabhu? About, you were asking me something, right?
What thing? Like regarding this only we were discussing, na?
Yeah,
Like,
the layer,
every time we read in Bhagavad Gita, it is written that the soul gets entangled with the three modes of material nature, and that's why we have come to this word. So everywhere we read in Bhagavad Gita, the word is used like soul is entangled, we get entangled with this material nature, and that's why we have come to this. So like in this particular verse, it was written the soul doesn't get entangled. So we were confused, like because we got entangled, that's why we are coming. So how come it's written in this word that the soul doesn't mixes, that soul doesn't get entangled? So how to understand that? That was the main question.
Yes, yes, Mataji. So our philosophy is Achintya Veda Veda Tattva. So you can understand, like we say 9th chapter, more confidential questions are there. We say Krishna is localized also, Krishna is all pervading also. So that all things are there. Same thing, Mataji, it can be understood in different ways. Yes, now soul is bound, is covered by this body. In one sense, it is covered also, otherwise why we are here. But in one sense, what Krishna is trying to explain is, it is never entangled. Because soul is always self, how can it be entangled? That's the concept is trying to, like when Prabhuji said, Prakriti is there. In one place, Prakriti word was used to tell the potency. And we are Prakriti, we are not Purusha. But in this chapter, living entity is addressed as a Purusha. Same thing. Living entity is addressed as a Purusha here, but same thing, living entity is addressed as a Prakriti. Why? Each word of Sanskrit has a different meanings in different context. That's why Sanskrit, you should, like, I heard that we can't learn Sanskrit by words. We should learn Sanskrit by sentences. Like based on the sentences, we can understand what is saying. Like that's why the same Vedanta Sutra, Sri Shankaracharya, when he saw that, he said that he interpreted and proposed the Mayavada philosophy. But the same Vedanta Sutra, who was written by our Vyasadeva, who is has written Srimad Bhagavatam. Srimad Bhagavatam is a natural commentary on Vedanta Sutra. But the same, that Vedanta Sutra, when our Vaishnava Acharyas have written, either Ramanujacharya, Madhvacharya, our Baldev Vidyabhushan, or whoever has written, they have written Vaishnava commentary. So, same Sanskrit, but it is interpreted in a different way. So, it is also possible, same word, in different contexts, Krishna is trying to explain different concepts. If you see, right, in this chapter only, soul and super soul, Lord Krishna has brought 3 times. One time as a Kshetra, Kshetrajna, one as a Purusha, and other as a Jnaya. So now you can understand, what, Krishna is crazy or what? He's bringing again and again soul, super soul, but he's telling different concepts pertaining to the same thing. We may learn same thing, like mathematics also, like when you are in undergraduate, you learn same thing. But when you are postgraduate, they are telling the same things along with the addition. So now as Krishna is progressing, he's telling the same soul, same super soul. But now initially he said field and this one over. And later he's saying, is telling and describe what are their qualities. Now I am not divided, I am everywhere. Like that is going in detail and explaining. But same concept is explaining. If you see overall way, that's why sometimes I also felt what is this. But Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining in a very, very contextual way. Very nice way. As a conversation going on, Krishna is explaining and convincing Arjuna. Oh Arjuna, you should fight. Understanding this, you should fight. So, yes, Prabhuji. I will also give you that purport, Prabhuji, on your WhatsApp. You can also go through that purport.
Right. And Madhvi Radhika was also asking about when you leave the body, some false ego. Yesterday when I was doing something, you were asking this question. Do you remember that question about false ego covering and when you leave the body, what happens? Hey, you are on mute.
I was telling that when we, like we say, that when we transmigrate from one body to another, that at that time we carry the subtle body with us, the mind, intelligence, ego. Only the gross body we live here, and our subtle body carries from one body to another when we transmigrate. So, like suppose if we go to Goluka Vrindavan, we then at that time we leave the subtle body also here along with the gross body. Then only we say that we have liberated and we are now going to Godhead. Okay, so now we have left our identification as our subtle body and gross body here. So we say that in spiritual world also we don't lose our identity. So in spiritual world, what is the basis of that identity? Something should be there so that we are individual. We have our own identity there. So what is the basis there? Here we say that the mind, intelligence, ego is the basis by which we are identified as different here. So what is the basis there?
Ismata, this is a wonderful thing you asked. So, Prabhupada, one of the very wonderful thing how Prabhupada coins his words is by seeing the word itself, we can understand. Prabhupada used ahankara as false ego. False itself shows that there is a real ego also. So in this also Krishna was telling about he has a transcendental senses. Just like Krishna has a transcendental senses, in our original constitutional position, we have a senses. Those are also transcendental senses. We have mind. We have real ego. What is that real ego? I am a servant of Krishna. I am a friend of Krishna. I am a lover of Krishna. Those are the real ego. Ego means identity, and my real identity, whether I am a servant or a lover or a friend or a parent, these are my real identities that are possible in spiritual world. But in our situation, current situation, Prabhupada says that all of us, we are servants of Krishna, and later we understand our exact constitutional position. But in all the rasas, service is the primary thing.
Yeah.
Real ego is there, Mataji. That's what Prabhupada says.
Okay. I think so. It is understood. So the soul in itself also has its own identity, which is what we say Sarup Siddhi, right?
Sarup. So Prabhupada says holy name can reveal everything. So we don't follow any other process. Holy name is the process that reveals everything. Holy name has name, fame, qualities, pastimes, my relationship, everything holy name has. So that's why Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given this process. He brought this process, and we should stick to the process, and that way we get our own constitutional position.
One more question arises, like regarding that verse in which it's saying that everything should be seen as a combination of Prakriti and Jiva. Okay. In that, like somewhere we read that example that even if like living things we can understand easily. Okay. They are combination like plants and like animals, like living beings, that they are combination. But how to understand that fact in everything which exists in the nature as a combination?
So,
not only all non-living things are there, all non-moving things are also there, or non-living things are also there. So how to see that aspect of material nature as a combination of living entity and nature?
Yes, Mataji, there is a concept also. Even within hills also, there are some living entities, they stay. You must be knowing that. That's why we, in our deities also, we take the living stone and then take. Of course, that also means, mathematics, I'm telling, applying mathematical principle. There are x and y are there. When you get a z equals to, when you want to do addition, alpha x plus beta y. So that alpha can be 0 or beta can be 0. Alpha can be 1, beta can be 1. And alpha, beta, they are in the range of 0 to 1. So all kinds of combination possible. So when you see the combination, extreme combination is also possible, right? That is also set. So that is also possible, but I'm saying even within the mountains and hills also living entities stay. There are certain living entities stay. That's why even if you remember this, our Mayapur Narsinghdev temple, that Vigraha, very carefully chosen from South India. There is one sculpture, that pastime is also explained actually. There is a sculpture from Karnool, I think. Is very expert in preparing deities of Narsinghdev. And it really took time for him also. Like he did not accept initially, but it took really some time for him to figure out what is the particular stone. And in the sculpture, we have Shilpa Shastra is there in that. Like I did not read, but I came to know that Shilpa Shastra has this principle how to check whether stone is living or not. So that is also there. So now you can ask the question, there may be dead stones also. Yes, that's why alpha beta concept can come there also. It's a combination, right? Combination means any permutation is possible, like that. So, but the most important thing what Krishna is trying to explain is now, whenever you are seeing anything now, you please see from the eyes of Bhagavad Gita that, oh, you see, this is also potency of me, this is also potency of me. Whatever you are seeing, it's a potency of me. So, that way, you are not separated from me. Whatever you see in Bhagavad Gita, other chapters, Krishna explained this concept in a different way. Like Srila Prabhupada was asked, oh Prabhupada, like now I am drinking wine, I am not able to give up the drinking wine. Prabhupada says, taste of wine is Krishna, you please drink it in that way. And that is true, because taste of water is Krishna, and wine taste also comes from the water. So Krishna is explaining in different way, whatever you are tasting, that is my potency only. So whatever you are seeing, actually, that's why my teacher Leela Purushottam sir's famous statement is, Krishna alone exists. No, nothing else exists actually. So, and it is true. After you learn this thing, then you see everywhere only Krishna. That's why a student of Bhagavad Gita loves Krishna. He don't see anything else. Of course, we are in the process of practicing this. But who is a real student of this literature? They only see Krishna. They don't see anything else. Whether you are seeing cloth, that is also Krishna's potency. Whether you are seeing sun, that is also Krishna. Moon, Krishna. Water, Krishna. Everything is Krishna. I am lifting my hand. That power to lift hand also coming from Krishna. So that's why in Bhagavatam there is also concept Bhayam Dvitiya Abhinivesha Tasyat. When you see anything disconnected from Krishna, you will be immediately fearful. When you see everything in connection with Krishna, you are fearless. Is it not such a wonderful concept? Like, at least I saw such a wonderful concept. When you see anything disconnected from Krishna, immediately you will be fearful. Bhayam Dvitiya Abhinivesha Tasyat Viparyayo Asmritihi, and you will forget. And Maya means jo kuch nahi hai. So that removes Krishna from your vision. That is Maya. So yes, Mata. So that is also another way we can look at it, Mataji. I hope it's answered.
Yes, Prabhu. Thanks.
Thank you, Mataji. So, any other questions, comments?
Akshay, do you have any question? Sure. So any
एक second.
Any, but in the meantime, go ahead.
I just have a question. So we learned so far that soul desires, right? That is the only thing when it comes to soul, what we mainly so is desire a material thing or a spiritual? And if it is a material desire, the soul does, then how do we correlate it with soul being pure? And my second part of question is, we say that, we just learned that when we go back to spiritual world, our false ego is replaced by a real ego, right? So there is everything pure. So when in that place, everything is pure, what made us fall down? How the contamination happened? Again, the desire came, right, for us to lord over. So that desire is again contaminated. So how can it reach the spiritual realm where we are in? So everything is coming the center point as desire. So I'm just trying to understand desire.
Yeah, actually, I'm really very happy to hear your question, Ashish Nagar. Like, is your name Ashish?
No, it's Nikita.
So Nikita, so you are very happy to hear this question. So that means you are hearing Bhagavad Gita nicely. So at least, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, there are 4 kinds of people who come to me. One of them is inquisitive. So you are inquisitive, and really I'm happy. So because for for whoever is teaching Bhagavad Gita, like when I have learned also Bhagavad Gita, I'm still in the process of learning Bhagavad Gita. Like I always saw that whenever we ask questions to our teacher, we see a big smile on his face. Like I saw in many devotees, whoever ask the question, they really feel. And even in Bhagavatam also, whenever Parikshit Maharaj is asking question or Shaunaka, the Rishis are asking questions, that Sukdev Goswami or Suta Goswami, they really congratulate the students. You have asked a wonderful question. Whatever answer to this question is going to not only beneficial to you, it's going to beneficial to all the people. And he really says 3 people who get benefited when someone asks questions. At least for this purpose, all of us should ask questions, so that who are the 3 people will be benefited when someone, like you ask a question. So one of the most important person who will be benefited is me. Second thing is you. And third thing is all the audience. So this is, I am not saying like Sukdev Goswami, like it says in Bhagavad, who are the people who get benefited? 3 kinds of people, they all get benefited. So, but in the material realm, if anyone asks such questions, no, either the person most probably who is asking, he may get, at most he may get benefited, may not get benefited also. So first thing is, I'm really happy in that context that you are asking question. So your question is desire. Yes, there is a spiritual desire also. And symptom of the soul is also desire. In Buddhism, people say we can be desireless. No, soul can never be desireless. Prabhupada gives this logic that in the conditioned state, we are so active. We are so active trying to fulfill our different desires. How can you say that in spiritual, when you have gone back to Krishna's abode, the same soul which is active, can it be dull? Desireless is like, directly turns into mostly those dull people only, even though they have some desire to sleep. So, but desire is also there in pure form. That's why in 15th chapter, if you see, this material world is a reflection of the spiritual world. Whatever you see here, that's a reflection. That means when you see here a desire, material desire, so that means it's a reflection of the spiritual desire. Janmadhyasyata, everything has a source from Krishna only. Okay, material desire, spiritual desire. Now coming to your second question, so soul is pure, then how material desire come into the realm of the pure soul? So this is a concept of like, soul. This also another question will explain. Soul has a minute independence. Because of the minute independence, it chose to be under the external potency of Krishna. We chose because of the minute independency. Because we chose to be independent under the influence of the external potency of the Krishna. Now, under the influence of the external potency of Krishna means now we are offered both gross body and subtle body. Among them, false ego is there. So now, when soul misidentifies itself with a body, either gross body or subtle body, it identifies with the body. So Bhagavad Gita, Krishna is explaining here, Karanam Guna Sangha Asyad, means when you are associating with 3 modes. Now you identified yourself as a body. So now what happens with this concept? Now you are associating with this Prakriti, whether in a goodness or passion or ignorance. Now you feel whatever, like a drunkard, when he's associating, he feels that drinking is a good. So based on your association, now your desire will develop. So that desire being under the realm of modes of nature, it's a material desire. So material desire means it is a desire which is influenced by the 3 modes of material nature. So, but when soul comes out of this body, or even within this body, when it's liberated, what happens? You start desiring only for Krishna. So now you can also desire for Krishna. Desiring for Krishna, we can practice from now. By that, we are what? Our desire is a spiritual desire. In simple terms, pure spiritual desire means desiring only for the pleasure of Krishna. Like now we are chanting. Why you are chanting? We are all chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. Of course, we are not exactly able to do all throughout our chanting. But my goal is that. My goal is I am chanting for the pleasure of Krishna. I don't want wealth. I don't want come out of distress. I want to please Krishna. So that is a pure spiritual desire. Even though I am conditioned now, but my desire is a pure spiritual desire. Now coming to your last question, why soul has entered into this material world? This is a very, every student asks this question. I don't know how they enter into this doubt. I was also so curious about this question. Why Krishna, that world is a pure spiritual world, how they can fall from there? Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says this, fallible. There is like Kshara Akshara Evacha. In 15th chapter, Krishna uses this concept, Kshara Sarvani Bhutani, Kshara Akshara Evacha. So we are all fallible. See, in any state, we are not robots. In any state, we are not robots. We always have the free will. What is that free will? Minute independence is we can always choose whether to be with Krishna or to be away from Krishna. Okay. So Prabhupada was asked in different contexts this question, and Prabhupada answers. Jaya and Vijaya, all of us know, like Jaya and Vijaya, they have fallen from Vaikuntha, and Krishna had to appear one time as Narsinghdev, Varahadev, Krishna, and then Rama. Okay, you understand, right? So like that, to kill those things. So Jaya and Vijaya, they are from the spiritual world, they have fallen. So this is a proof that one can come from spiritual world. Okay. Second thing is, Srila Prabhupada also used his magazine word name as back to Godhead. So if it is not back to Godhead, it's simply going to Godhead. It does not make sense. Back to Godhead means we have come from that place and we are going there. So that also says. Third thing is, Srila Prabhupada gave this, it's a blunt answer, but he says that if you are in a hospital, like some of your doctors said, if you are in hospital and if your patient asks, how did I get my corona? Can you tell me? How did I get my corona? Did I get my corona by contact with the neighboring person, or through the air contact, or through water contact, or I am insulated in my home only? How did I get my corona? First of all, modern science don't have answer. And you will feel, hey, you are rubbish, you are rascal, you are asking this question. First, to get out of this disease, and later you think about this. So Prabhupada also said in the same way, you are suffering. First, you get out of this suffering and you get out of this world and go to Krishna and ask him, oh Krishna, why did I fall? So these are all the ways Prabhupada has explained. But of course, this third is a very strong way of saying, and it's a very true. Now also, if a patient comes to doctor and saying, can you tell me how did I get COVID? Even after vaccinating 2 doses, 3 doses of vaccination, people are getting COVID and they're dying also. So then what is the reason? No one can explain. So, but Krishna can explain. So these are all the reasons. We are fallible. So that means at any point of time, we can misuse independence, and it is possible. Even after coming in touch with Bhagavad Gita also, there is a chance that I can reject Bhagavad Gita also. That choice is always there. So you can understand, for this reason, we have fallen from material world. So we should utilize this human form of life rather than wasting time in how we have fallen. Rather, we should use our time in coming out of this. That is the best way. That's the intelligence. Okay, Mataji, you have understood?
Yeah, thank you. Just on that, then why this came up in my mind from Shloka 32, where they say that soul neither, so why is it highlighted that soul doesn't do anything? Because the whole base here is desire. So when desire is the root cause, then, and at the same time, we see here that soul does, the soul neither does anything nor is entangled. So I was more stuck on the soul does nothing.
Soul does nothing, yeah. So in one sense, soul is doing only desiring, but everything else, desiring is, of course, major portion. What Krishna is trying to say is, see, now when I am for example, now I am speaking. Now what I feel, I am speaking. So Krishna is telling in that context that I am the doer. I am speaking. No one is speaking, right? I am speaking. But actually what we know, that power to speak. There is a chance that while I am speaking at any point of time, my power to speak can go away. And it happens. Is it not? Will it happen or not? There's a great wrestler was there. He's a great wrestler. And he was so proud that whenever he was winning, no one is greater than me. A day came, he could not even lift small utensil also. So even though I am now speaking, if I am confident because I am speaking, then I should be confident and this speech should be there with me always. But I know for sure that that power to speak can go anywhere. And recently my mother, all throughout she was hearing properly, but recently she said that I am feeling some issue in my ear. And when we went, she has some hearing issue. So now now we can say, right, all these days I was hearing properly, now suddenly. So it is there. So now if I am the doer, I should be the controller of what I am doing also. But the thing is, if I am not the doer, because I am not controlling this action at all. I am not able to control. Even though it appears that I am controlling this. You are able to understand it. So Krishna is telling from that any activity in this material world, so you are not actually doer. So you are only doing little bit portion. What is that? Desiring and endeavoring. That's it. Otherwise, major portion is done by Krishna and his energies only. So what we have to learn from this thing is, we should not be puffed up. Oh, I am such a great person. I can do anything. I have a great qualification. I can do anything in life. Whatever I do, no one can object me. No one can defeat me. No. So we should be, by learning this, we should be humble. My position in this entire creation is so insignificant that I am dependent on Krishna for water, for air, for earth, for my sustenance. Even my grains also I am depending on farmers. If Krishna is not providing, I can't live. So my existence is even though I am desiring, but my existence is completely dependent upon Krishna. So this teaches us humility also. That's why I said, what is the checklist? When you learn Bhagavad Gita, you'll naturally be humble. You'll naturally be tolerant. You naturally be non-violent. You don't want to do harm. Because I'm so insignificant, what I can do. Okay? But that does not make us depressed. That make us enlivened actually by learning our own position. Okay?
Anyone has any more question for Prabhuji? Like this was a technical chapter, that's why we have a technocrat here to unfold the mysteries and concepts of this chapter.
So one thing I will tell last. So one who is a student of Bhagavad Gita, he can be the really blissful person. And no one else can be the blissful person. This much guarantee I can give. Even though we have challenges in life, we also go through distress. But like not me, I'm saying like own devotees of Lord Krishna, the real blissful persons. So if you really want to be blissful, please take up this message seriously in your life. You will be immensely benefited. As Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you need not leave anything. We are not interested in leaving anything. We are interested in linking up everything with Krishna. If you are working, link up that with Krishna. If you are a wife, link up that with Krishna. We are not interested in leaving anything. In fact, that is called as Falgu Vairagya. We are interested in connecting with Krishna, everything. So that's in that sense, only Krishna's devotees are the most blissful people in the entire creation. Even Indra, Brahma, they are also unhappy. Indra is the most unhappy. So, but the devotees of Lord Krishna, as I said, even if you don't have anything to sustain also, still in that sense also they are happy. Like my request is, after you read this Bhagavad Gita, you please proceed to Bhagavatam, then you can really understand how the consciousness of the elevated people are there, how do they live. And Pandavas are the really such example. Okay, with this I think I am ending from my side. Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I think so it was really a very fruitful session because it was very important for us to understand, and you really brought that light into this chapter and clarified many of the doubts. And, those we were entangled in this chapter. So thank you very much, and thanks all the participants. Just want to check if anyone has any comment, anything else. Okay, no, thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for giving me this service. Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam.
Dandavat pranam. Hare Krishna.
Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyascha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namah. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.